When you fall off,
Well, I mean, I think so.
At a certain point, it just begins, and whatever happens, happens.
That's where I'm at right now. Yes, there was a point of
Lots of preparation.
anxiety, let it go and just see it soft cover it goes.
There's a.
That's true.
It's
I mean, I've talked to both of them like in the last week.
This is your second time saying
I don't believe you because at least Jess would have mentioned it.
Sure.
There'll be more.
Yeah.
Maybe we should sit on the end.
All right, friends, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We've got some. And we've got some very exciting things tonight at services. First and foremost, this is the Bat Mitzvah weekend of Eva Rosenberg, who will be leading a few things. And we also, which, not to draw attention from that, but we've got Baby Fest here too. We've got two very new kids for their first Shabbat services. So very excited about that. So they're all looking beautiful. Okay, we are going to begin on. Well, let's rejoice. Let the heavens rejoice and the earth be glad. Yismachu Hashemayim, page 6. Because we can't rejoice over these beautiful babies. And about me. Yismachu Hashemayim. Yismachu Hashemayim. Yismachu Hashemayim. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Bumelo. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Bumelo. All right, let's go to page 9. Mizmor shiru l'Adonai shir chadash, ki niflaot asa. Hoshia lo yemino, uzroa kocho. Ay lehodia yada yeshuato, le'enei hagayim, ki latzikato. Zachar chasdo ve'emunato b'beit Yisrael. Ra'u kol atzei haaretz et Yeshua Eloheinu. Ariu Adonai kol haaretz. Titzku le'vanenu ve'zaveru. Zaveru Adonai le'yonor ve'kinor ve'kol zimra. Bachar yotzrot ve'kol shofar. Ariu lifnei hamelech Adonai. Yiram hayam u'melo. Tevel וישמור הארץ, יפול ג'בר וצדק, ועמי ומישרים. Right, we're going to go to page 12. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Page 13. Lechadodi, page 15. Adonai echad u'shemo echad, Hashem Tiferet V'Nihila. Lecha Adoni, Lecha V'Nihila Hakala, V'Nishama V'Nihila, Lecha V'Nihila Hakala, V'Nishama V'Nihila, Nihrat Shabbat V'Necha, Ki V'Kor HaBracha, V'Rosh Mikelem Lezucha, Zofa Seda Machshava Tchila. Lecha Lecha Deroti, Nikra Nikra Kala, V'nei V'nei Shabbat Nekavela. Lecha Lecha Deroti, Nikra Nikra Kala, V'nei V'nei Shabbat Nekavela. Bottom of 17, Yamin Usmo Tifrosi, V'et Adonai Tariti, Adonai Shevet Parti, V'Yisrael V'Nai La 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 Adoti, Nikrat Nikrat Kala, V'nei V'nei Shabbat Nekavela. Adoti, Nikrat Nikrat Kala, V'nei V'nei Shabbat Nekavela. We rise and face the entrance, welcoming the Shabbat bride. Boi v'shalom, Terem Bala, Gam v'simcha, u'letzora, Tov v'muneh, Segulam, Boi Kala, Boi Kala. Nikrat Nikrat Kala, V'nei V'nei Shabbat Nekavela. Adoti, Nikrat Nikrat Kala, V'nei V'nei Shabbat Nekavela. And we say to any mourners in our midst, Hamakom V'Nechem V'Tok Shara B'nei Zion V'Yerushalayim. May God comfort you with all the mourners in Zion and Jerusalem. And we may be seated, page 19. Mizmor Shir LeYom HaShabbat, Tov Lehodov LeAdonai, U'Lizamer L'Shimcha Elyon, U'Lizamer L'Shimcha Elyon, V'Hagim HaBoker Nasecha, Ve'emunatcha V'Elyon. Continue on our own, 19 and 20. Tzadikat Amar Yifra, Kaheres Vavanon Yizkeh, Shetulim Bebeit Ador Hasrod Eloheinu Nafrihu Od Yenuv Beseva Deshenim Merananim Yiyu Leha Yashar Adonai Tori Velo Avatabo Adonai Malach Yot Lavesh Adonai Ozita Zar Afnikon Tevel Va'altimot Achon Kisacha Me'at Lamata Nasu Nerot Adonai Nasu Nerot Kolam Yisu Nerot Okyam Kol Mayim Mayim Rabim Adirim Mishpereyam Adi Shir V'Marom Adonai. Please rise briefly for the Baruch Hu, page 22. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. May be seated, Baruch Adonai Le'olam Asher B'Karo Marim V'Ravim. Chai v'kanyam tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ari v'ravim. All right, Eva's going to join me to lead some of the next few things together, and then some things by herself. 24. Page 25. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Bechol levacha, ubechol nafshecha, ubechol beyodecha, vehayu hadarim ha'ele, asher anuki netzadcha, hayom alecha, v'shinatan levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shivtecha v'beitecha, ולכתך בדרך, ושלתך ובקומך, ושרתם מאוד על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבת על מזוזות ביתך, ובישעריך.
תזכרו, ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי.
אתם קדושים עליכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אמת. אדוני אלוהיכם, אמת. טוב רצון כולהם, משה בן ישראל חנשרה בשמחה רבה ואמרו כולם. 32. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, נורא תהילות עושה מלכותך ובניך, חוקי הים לפני משה. זה ליענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך בעולם האל, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, נורא תהילות עושה פלא. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, ועמידנו מלכנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, ועמידנו מלכנו לחיים. On this side, you're going to start with Eva. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu Nishalom. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu Nishalom. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu Nishalom. Ashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu Nishalom. Sukkot Shlomecha, Baruch Atah Adonai, Aparei Sukkot Shalom Aleinu, Vel Kol Ha'am Yisrael, V'al Yerushalayim.
Amen.
We rise for Shamru. I assume Hashkivenu is Zeb's favorite song. I know it's one of right. It's Megan's favorite, so, and has played it with the Rock and Roll Shabbat band, also on the cello. All right, Shamru. Shamru ben Yisrael. Shamru ben Israel.
השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת עשו את השבת לקורתם ולתורתם וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש שבת ויהי נפש שבת ויהי
Remain standing for the Chatzi Kaddish, page 35.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
אמן.
ואומר דברה חירותי וימלך מלכותי.
וחייכו יומכו וחייקו בית ישראל בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב זמירו אמן שמי רבה מבורך לעולם לעולם מעיין יתברך
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה
בריחו
לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה
תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירם ביומה
וימרו
אמן.
Yasher Koach. We can go toward your seat now, but remain standing for the private Amidah, pages 37 through 48.
Say Shalom B'Roma Urias Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol
Okay, we're going to turn now to page 48 of our Hulu. Paul, why don't you come up and lead us in that?
No. ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם ויכל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה וישפוט ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו כי היבו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו אלוהי אבותינו אלוהי אברהם אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב אלוהי שרה אלוהי רבקה אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא אל עליון קונה שמיים וארץ מגן אבות בדברו חיי מתים במאמרו האל הקדוש שאין כמוהו המניח לעמו ביום שבת קודשו כי בם רצה להניח להם כי בם רצה להניח להם לפניו נעבוד ביראה ופחד ונודה לשמו בכל יום תמיד מעין הברכות אל ההודעות אדון השלום מקדש השבת ומברך שביעי ומניח בקדושה ליעמדו שני עונג זכר למעשה בראשית אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו רצה ומנוחתנו קדשנו במצוותיך ותן חלקנו בתורתך סבנו מטובך ושמחנו בישועתך וטהר ליבנו לעובדך באמת וטהר ליבנו לעובדך באמת והנחילנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה וברצון שבת קודשך וינוחו בה ישראל מקדשי שמך ברוך אתה אדוני המקדש השבת.
Let me invite Eva to come back up for Kaddish Shalem, page 53.
יתגדל ויקרא שמי רבה.
אמן.
ועמד יברח ירתה וימלך מלכותי. וחייכון וביומכון ופיידך בית ישראל. בגל ובזמן קריב בימרו.
אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך. לעולם לא מעולמיה יתברך.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא. יתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי לקודשה.
בריחו.
ואילם כל ברכתה ושירתה. תשבחה בניכם מנתה דמירון בעלמה וימרו.
אמן.
תתגבל צלתך לכל ישראל. קודמה והון דובי שמיה וימרו.
אמן.
יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה. וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל וימרו.
אמן.
עושה שלום במרומיו. ויעשה Yisrael v'yimeru.
Amen.
Yeshua.
Yeshua.
Okay, so thank you, Eva. We're looking forward to much more tomorrow as well. You are in very, very good shape. Beautifully led tonight. So we are now up to the point where in place the sermon for those. Well, pretty much all of you know, maybe except well, there are a couple who might, but I do these historical documents, and what I'm doing right now, we're now up to religious school. And we started last week. What was happening at the Temple Beth Abraham Religious School? And tonight we're going to cover the 60s, based only on the minutes. There's going to be letters that I'm going to be reading later on, but this week it's the 60s through the minutes of Temple Beth Abraham. But before I do the 60s, just to go back to last week, I want to remind you that the first reference to it in the minutes that I have, because they only go back to 1950, was 1952. The school budget was $400. So, and I don't know if that includes the salary of the director or not. It probably does. But the hired head of school's name, and I'm saying this for your benefit, was Isidore Dickman. So I don't know, could be a relative, but probably not. Very, very distant. All right, so now we last left in we had over 300 kids in the religious school in 1959. That's also true in 1960. 100 new families had joined between 1951 and 1959, but the growth of the school hadn't gone. It stayed around 350. And Temple Sinai had the same membership, but way more students, way more kids. So in 1961, they decide, though, it's still a lot of students, we need a summer Hebrew school. So let's have that. So they opened a summer Hebrew school, but it was canceled because no one signed up. That was in 1961. How many people come to meet with Susan to do Ashrei over the summer? Anyway, 1962, they decide that the religious school, they also have on Saturdays. It's unclear, but I believe it was an option. It wasn't required. You could go to either one. In 1966, there are now 400 students in the religious schools. The congregation's really growing in the early 60s. And the facilities are inadequate. So they do some studies. How can we house all our students? Their first idea is to build a second story on the school building, but that is determined to be impossible. It was not made for a second story. They'd have to scrap the whole thing, which had just been dedicated in 1953. So they're not going to do that. Then they talk about limiting their membership. If we have all these people joining, we can't handle the 400 students. Maybe we put a cap on our membership of the synagogue, and there's a discussion about we have an obligation to educate the Jewish community, and 60% of the Jewish community is unaffiliated. That means only 40% is affiliated. Now, in the East Bay, it's between 5 and 7%, okay, just to give you some perspective. And it was 40% in 1966. Then in 1967, Jerry Danzig becomes both the education director and the religious school director at once.
What year?
1967. For a school that has over 400 kids and a membership that's about 600.
Wow.
So, I mean, this was quite intense. He does both jobs. At some point, he decides he has enough, and he goes to rabbinical school and later becomes a rabbi. So, anyway, but that's what he was doing then. In 1968, they decide where the membership is 622, and that's the peak of Temple Beth Abraham's membership of all time. 622 is the largest membership we've ever had. And they decide, well, the kids can't get here very easily, so they try to do buses for religious school and hire the Oakland school buses to bring them, but it doesn't work because the schedules are too different and they scrap it. We've, by the way, had many attempts of transportation to religious school at Temple Beth Abraham. They've all failed. It's very hard to do. And then finally, Danzig, he's still the religious school director. He wants to switch the Sunday school entirely to Saturday, and he asks the synagogue to adopt the Stanford curriculum. So there was a Stanford supplemental religious school curriculum put together in the 1960s. I don't know if it was ever adopted here or anywhere else, but there was such a thing. He wanted us to purchase it. And next week, we're going to go to the 70s, where many surprises are in store. All right. This time we're going to rise for the Kiddush on page 55. We're going to invite the whole Tish Rosenberg clan come on up. This is juice. Come on, way up here. So you can see. Yes, it's juice. Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu b'mitzvotav ratzah banu, v'shabbat kodsho b'ahavratzah impilanu, zikaron l'maaseh bereishit, ki'u yom tehillah v'likrayei kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'hartav, Tanu Kidasha Mikol Amim V'Shabbat Kodshecha V'Yahava Uvraso Yimchal Tanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh Hashamat. Chaim to life. It's juice on Saturday. You have your option. They're both up there.
Yeah.
And if you are with children or anyone you're else comfortable blessing, put your hands on their heads. We say, Yisimech Elohim Kasar Rivka Rachel V'Leah, Yisimcha Elohim K'Ephraim V'Menashe, Yivarecha Adonai B'Yishmerecha, Adonai B'Nav Elecha V'Yichunecha, Yisah Adonai B'Nav Elecha V'Yisemecha Shalom. May God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May God lift the divine face toward you and grant you peace. Amen. All right, we remain standing for the Aleinu, except the parents can go down, but Jonah's going to stay up, and Isaac and Lila are also going to come up, and they're going to help lead the Aleinu on 57. Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adonai kol ha'zeichu ha'lil zer b'reishit shelo asanu k'rei ha'atzot v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama shelo sakel k'Yivrahim v'lo raleinu k'chol ha'onam v'anachnu gorim u'mishtachavim Elohim Lifnei melech malchei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shehu yotei shamayim ve'yosef haaretz u'Moshe yikaro l'shamayim ima'am u'shkinatu zo v'gavei meromim Eloheinu 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 efes ulato Kanatu b'torato v'yogatayo v'hashivoto elem rabecha ki Adonai hu Elohim b'shamayim v'ima'al v'al haaretz mitachat eino כתוב בתורתך עניים לך לעולם ועד ונאמן היה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. Yasher Koach. We're going to remain standing. I meant to do this before the Aleinu, but I you can go back toward your seats because we're going to count the Omer. All right, we're halfway through. If that gives you a clue, and we're going to turn to page 273, and I'll just do the short version partway down the page. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat ha'omer. Yom Chamisha v'Esrim Yom Shehem Shlosha Shavuot v'Arba'a Yamim LaOmer. Tonight begins the 25th day of the Omer, halfway to Shavuot. All right. At this time, maybe we can be seated as we lovingly recall the memory of our departed relatives and friends whose yortzeit we observe during the coming week. Thinking especially today of Irene Ballant, Harry Broff, Francis Cohen, David Gross, Stephen Kaplan, Joe Karen, Stanley Korn, Ethel Cronick, Noah Nathan, Joyce Oppen, Benjamin Ramo, Gloria Reed, Nathan Rosenblatt, Linda B. Rosenthal, Bernard Sensor, Charles Silberstein, Charles Silver, Louis Waxman, Stephen Wittenberg, Faye Young, George Zuckerman, and we are in the Shloshim for Sue Bostic, the mother of Misha Bostic. Memories of all of them with us. We ask all those who are in mourning or observing yortzeit, as well as anyone else who would choose to do so, to rise for the mourner's Kaddish. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah. V'yalmad yivrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chayechonu v'yomechonu v'chayei rechol Beit Yisrael. Bagalav v'zman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mivorach le'olam olmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei Dekudsha barichu la'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata gamiran v'yalma v'imru Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabbah min Shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Osei shalom v'yomam v'yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. May the energy of the people who come to say Kaddish be a blessing to you always. Let us say Amen. I also want to, as we do announcements, we have Emery Morgan and Zev Cohen, their first Shabbat services tonight. It was great to see them tonight, and made it almost all the way through. Kind of did. They basically did. All right. Some announcements. Well, first of all, tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Eva becomes bat mitzvah, and she'll be leading all kinds of stuff, giving the drash, and you're gonna love it. There's mahjong for all after Kiddush in the chapel courtyard or the chapel.
Depending on
We'll
what.
see. Okay, Sunday's the annual meeting, 10 a.m. via Zoom. Men's Club Poker, Thursday, May 23rd, in the Baum Center at 7 p.m. Next Saturday, May 25th, Lila Tzadman. It's fun. And let's see, we have a few other things coming up. We've got Kabbalat Shabbat confirmation and Beit Sefer 7th grade graduation on May 31st. And don't forget about our Gala Gourmet, the Barbie and Ken World Tour, 4:30 p.m. on Sunday, June 2nd. Very important fundraiser for the congregation. Fabulous food by Jing Pizer. All right. So our closing song tonight, who are we honoring this week? A significant musician died this week. And so we are going to honor him even though it's not a Jewish song. The musician's name is David Sanborn. He was one of the greatest saxophonists in our era. He's on so many albums. He also has his own. His first two hits, he wasn't the artist, but he recorded the saxophone. He was the saxophone player on Young Americans by David Bowie, which is not what we're not going to do. And How Sweet It Is by the James Taylor version, which was a remake of the Marvin Gaye version. And so this is in the mid-'70s. Now, if I'm going to honor a saxophonist, we might as well bring a saxophone player. Just so you know, he says it's going to look funny because he forgot his strap.
Hold on, we're working on it.
Not only look funny, sound funny.
We're working on a solution.
Oh, okay. So my friend Ed Chow is here, and they're seeing what they can do. So Ed and I go all the way back to second grade at South School in Hillsborough. Dan Jaffe's a member of the congregation, was also part of that school, and we played in the middle school band together under the direction, and we've got another middle school band director under the direction of Clinton Bubba Bowles, and it's a whole story in itself. So while they're working on this, I also want to tell you, I'm going to be insufferable for the next several months because the Avett Brothers dropped a new album yesterday. And it is amazing. It is deeply spiritual and profound.
Who is that?
The Avett Brothers. And, I mean, they're just, as you know, my love for them. But the album in itself tells a story. And then the songs, most of the songs tell almost the same story within. It's basically about the life cycle. It's about life and death and rebirth. It's got major religious overtones, children, middle age, death of grandparents. It's all kind of in there and related. It's just really well done. It's pretty complicated musically, so it'll be a while before I play them. It's not the sort of traditional 5-chord folk songs that they normally play. They're much more complex musically. So, and I suppose the ideas maybe as well. But I'm in love with the album already, and very, very excited for that.
Not a strap.
Well, I will hold on.
From the
Yeah, we maybe have a strap.
oh, wow. He's working on it. So anyway, we're gonna see. We practiced once on Zoom, and he couldn't hear me, but still, I thought it sounded pretty good. So.
Quite good. No.
Do you want a chair as well with a combination of them? Or?
I need to bump up the swing. So tighten it up. Does it work?
We're working on it.
That's actually the most important part of the instrument. Is
Is that good or more?
like that.
And not to be. All right, we're getting there.
It works.
And not to be not to intimidate you, but we've got a conductor here, a cellist who also is a professor of cello teaching, and a middle school band director. So. We're ready? Then you got it. Okay, we're gonna do the best we can.
Still can't hear you.
How sweet it is to be loved by you. How sweet it is to be loved by you. I needed the shelter of someone's arms. There you were. I needed someone to understand my ups and downs. There you were. With sweet love and devotion, deeply touching my emotion. I wanna stop and thank you, baby. I wanna stop and thank you, baby. How sweet it is to be loved by you. At night, wondering where would I be without you in my life. Everything I did was just a bore. Everywhere I went, it seems I've been there before. But you brightened up for me all of my days with a love so sweet in so many ways. I wanna stop. Thank you, baby. I wanna stop. And thank you, baby. It is to be loved by you. Just like sugar, baby. How sweet it is to be loved by you. All right, take it in. Me is you and there ain't nobody else. I wanna stop and thank you, baby. I wanna stop and thank you, baby. How sweet it is to be loved by you. How sweet it is to be loved by you. Strawberries on the line. How sweet it is to be loved by you. To the beat now, how sweet it is to be loved by you. One more time for Shabbat.